1, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a regular meeting on Tuesday, July the 5th, 2016, at 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall, Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Father God, we thank you for 240 years of our nation, the freedoms that we have experienced in this nation that have been unprecedented throughout history. Lord, we ask you to help us to remember to use those freedoms for good every day, to bless each other, not denying truth, but implementing your truth in a way that expresses your love also. Lord, I ask you to lead and guide the mayor and commissioners in this meeting, that they will see the opportunities that are available for Brownsville. Lead and guide each of us in what we need to do. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. The mayor's activity update.
I just have a mention real quick. I noticed that some of the commissioners attended a lot of the activities, and I want to thank all the commissioners for all the things that they do. But also, I think I want to more particularly thank all of our veterans and all of our military people for the freedom that we are experiencing today, like the pastor said. And I also want to commend the city of Brownsville for all the energy. I understand there was a great crowd out at the sports park, great crowd at the parades, great crowds out at South Padre Island. And so for all that, I'm glad everybody's celebrating, and I belatedly wish everybody a happy 4th. Commissioners, activity update, anyone?
I want to remind our citizens about an event that we're having. It involves our police and our fire departments. They're having a blood drive called Guns and Hoses, and it's a friendly competition between the two departments, seeing who can raise the most blood. As we know, there have been some terroristic acts around the world, and we see people lining up to give blood for the victims. And that's great, but if we can prepare, hopefully, God forbids we get something like that here, but little things like this can help prepare for tragedies or accidents, or just someone who's sick and needs blood. If you donate blood, you can save up to 3 lives. And if you go to cob.us, our website, you'll see the details. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
Mayor, I just wanted to thank everybody that showed up yesterday for the 4th of July parade. Thank you to the Brownsville Herald, and for those that were actually there. We need to do, I guess, a better promotion of it. I guess the Herald, and community-wise, we get more participation when the Dallas Cowboys win on Southmost than we did at the 4th of July parade, which is something that we need to keep in mind, and ask our citizens to be able to take in mind that we enjoy our freedom, and that's why we should come out and salute our veterans and salute our community.
I think we bought everybody some parasols.
But it was
the heat is
regardless. It was a good turnout.
It was a good turnout, and it's good energy. So, but thank you, Commissioner, for what you do. Employee of the Month presentation.
Employee of the Month, Mr. Efrain Trujillo, Office of Grants Management.
Mayor and Commission, please help me welcome our Employee of the Month for July. As mentioned, Efrain Trujillo, one of the bright young men that we have working in our grants department. He took on the challenge of being the home manager. And as you know, the home and the U.S. Housing and Urban Development programs are one of the most complicated programs we have within our responsibility. He works very well with Nick Mitchell at the CDBC and as a program administrator. Their goal is always to get affordable homes and housing for our community. Some of He has just done a great job for us. We're very much honored to offer him the Employee of the Month. Of course, he's eligible for the Employee of the Year at our banquet in December. Please help me welcome Efrain. He gets, you have a watch? He doesn't have a watch, he's gonna get and the plaque, which. He's also a talented speaker, so he's gonna give you some few words.
Couple of words would be great. Thank you, Efrain.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to basically thank the recognition. Even though it's an individual recognition to myself, I do want to take the opportunity and thank everybody in my department and throughout the city, because it's not a one individual show, it's an effort of a team. So I just want to thank everybody, and hopefully we'll continue helping our community. Thank you.
Efrain, thank you. I happen to know a lot about what you guys are doing, and I know what a great job you're doing, and Marion, everybody, you guys are working as a team, and it shows. So my hat's off to all of you, and thank you for so much. I'm sure every commissioner here would love to thank you for your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next presentation, Soul Smart Initiative.
All right, touchpad. All right, good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is David Licon. I work in the Engineering Department. Today I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the Soul Smart Initiative is and what we've been working on for the past about 6 months. So really quickly, we're trying to bring solar into Brownsville. I know that's a concept that's been thrown around a few times before, but we're really trying to put it as a staple of Brownsville that's going to make us unique compared to other cities in the valley. Really quickly, all of y'all know that Brownsville was established in 1848, that we have a rather large population, we're about mid-size. But what I really like to focus on is that we have 2 metropolitan areas that we're considered to be a part of, the Brownsville-Matamoros area, which is over 1 million people in population. A lot of people in the U.S. forget about that that's a major contributor to our economy, to our culture, and just what Brownsville is in itself. We also are part of the Brownsville-Harlingen metro area. That's about 400,000, 420, depending on what census you're looking at, but that's still a good amount of people. The reason I bring this up is basically when you start thinking about different areas around the world, around the U.S. that contribute to the solar power that we now think about, the first place you typically think about is Germany, Berlin, Germany. And if you compare us to them, we actually have more light per year than Berlin, Germany does. We might not think about that, but on days like today, it's really hot, and it could be very beneficial to look at solar power as an alternative to our traditional energy sources. So, climate for solar, where we're at right now, there's always obstacles. And what we're trying to do with SoulSmart is realize those obstacles and overcome them. Right now, our ordinances that are written that pertain to solar are very small. We have very few ordinances that really can hinder or help solar. If we want to become a solar city, we really need to start looking at those and make them more attractive to larger solar companies. Utility providers, we have 3. Everybody knows them: BPUB, Magic Valley, AEP. In the course of the beginning of the 6 months for SoulSmart, we did look at each one of them individually and speak to them, and all 3 of them are on board for solar power. All it is now the city coming on board with them and start looking at what we can do collectively to push solar power. We have quite a bit of local interest. Like I said, it's really hot in Brownsville, so anything to help the electric bill is beneficial. And so we've had quite a bit of citizens approach us and say, what can we do and how can we get solar? Again, we have optimal climate, and this is all just kind of making that perfect atmosphere for Brownsville to start adopting solar as an alternative. So why now? I know all of y'all are aware of the SC2 initiative. This kind of stemmed off of that. We started working with the Department of Energy, and they actually gave us a designation as an early adopter for the SoulSmart initiative. So there's only one of 30 cities in the U.S. that have that designation. We have technical assistance being provided by the Department of Energy to look at our ordinances, to look at the city as a whole, to look at alternative ways that we can start looking at solar power as an avenue for us. Alternative energy in general, it's a good reason why we're looking at solar power right now. And as a lot of you know, the bike paths that we have right now, a majority of them have solar power. So the next logical step would be that we start implementing solar power on a larger scale, as opposed to just the isolated areas like at Belgian Connect, at Southmost, which are going up right now. Why are we doing this? All of us know that utility bills are typically one of the highest bills that we have, especially electric. Any help would be beneficial for our citizens. Low housing, and this goes into low housing. Most of our citizens, we know, work multiple jobs, and most of the time it's to pay utility bills, to pay food bills, just to get enough food on the table. And if we're going to do this, the city should be the leader on what solar is. We have plenty of municipal buildings that are historical. Solar power could be not even just a good, a proactive approach, but we could give our citizens hard numbers of saying what solar really does on a building that's historical. If we have 4 panels, what does that offset for our energy bill? And in turn, if you have those same 4 panels, this is what you could see as an offset, as immediate month reduction in your energy bill. And this is a little bit down the road, but you could start a new job market. We don't have anything south of Austin, any cities that really push for solar power the way Austin does. A few slides back, the companies that are in Texas is 444, and I know it's really small for y'all to see, but if you see that Texas graph, the red kind of shows the larger cities that have solar power as manufacturers, as businesses that push solar power. Brownsville, we have 2 of those 445 companies. That's a big opportunity that we could definitely push for. And if you look toward the southern tip where we're at, there's no red around there. There's nothing that says that Brownsville couldn't be the leader in solar power. So why does it all make sense? And as an engineer, I typically look at modes of transportation, the infrastructure and all that. And this graph was simply just a way to show you that we have every mode of transportation that any company would need to say that Brownsville is an optimal environment for us to come down to. Brownsville is something that we can look into. The challenges that we face, of course, although we do have a blue-collar workforce, we have a great technical college and university that are willing to help train our local residents to become more skilled. And this is all coming off of what SoSmart really wants to do and help us out in this. Alternative energy education, our city staff needs to know what energy or solar panels are. We need to know what permits we need to put in. We need to know what place Brownsville has in the new solar panel. And the next steps that we're going to be doing, what we plan to do, of course, with your permission, we have 2 more years on the SC2 technical assistance, and we plan to use them. Right now, with our Spark designation as an early adopter, we literally need 10 points on a scale system that resembles a lot like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but the LEED certification for buildings. It's on a point system. Department of Energy is really helping us to say, you only need to hold 1 forum for solar power, or look at your ordinances to get those points. So we get that next designation of bronze. And once we get that next designation of bronze, then we start looking to say, hey, in the U.S., there's only 25 other cities in the U.S. that have this designation, and Brownsville is one of them. Maybe it is something that we look into. But to do this, the city can't be alone. We have to have partnerships. We have to have partnerships with commissioners, with your help, with PUB, with AEP, and even citizens that want to use solar power. And with those partnerships, then we can really push forward and say that as a city, as a region, we're united to say we want to be part of this solar game. And Austin isn't the only city, or only city in Texas that can do it. Any questions?
So David, the Department of Energy is helping us to develop the ordinances and codes that we need to be able to do this.
They are willing to help us in any aspect that we need.
So in the end, will they actually help us to create a plan, or is it just the ordinances that they're going to help us with?
They're willing to help us in ordinance review, even to gather information from other cities that have solar currently, like Austin, Berlin, and how can they be applied to our region and actually go through the ordinance writing process. Basically, any step of the way that we want to lead this is what they're willing to help us on. And
So
we have 2 years of that.
And I think it's wonderful. We certainly have plenty of sun to go around, as you said. I did read in the paper maybe a day or two ago, depending on who becomes the next president, there may be a lot of federal funds opening up to cities for solar energy.
That is
And
correct.
so will we be ready for that with the end of this plan?
And that's what we're planning for. And we're working with the Department of Energy. They're kind of like the spearhead for the president working in these funds. And getting these designations is kind of what's going to put us that leg up to be a little more attractive on these new grants that are coming in.
Excellent.
If I may, Mayor. Brother, you said ordinance review, so I think the question is, I know they're willing to help us with anything, but what do we have to do for them to start helping us? Are they gonna just help us write it? Are you guys gonna write it, then they're gonna present it? How do we actually move forward?
So moving forward, that's what we're kind of coming to you first to be on. We need to get all of the energy companies, because they're of course the key players in this, and kind of get their feedback of how, we don't want to put ordinances in place that kind of hinder growth. But we're trying to work with the local utilities as well as within our planning department and engineering department to see what is the best way to construct these. And we have great examples from other cities on what to use. And they're really just facilitators of what the information that we need, if we need studies, if we need help writing. Like I said, they're really open-ended on getting us going, because out of all the 30 cities, we are one of the largest cities that has the least amount of solar.
And so who's part of this working group?
Right now, we're working with planning, Laura Gomez from EPA, a few other departments within the Department of Energy. We've reached out to, like I said, every one of the utilities. So it's we're still on the building phases, but the next step, of course, is we start looking at ordinances. What we
So
need
how
to do.
how can we help you to keep moving forward, or what's the next step?
Well, next step for us, like I said, we wanted to present it to the commissioners and to you, Mayor, to kind of get your blessing that this is what y'all want to move forward with. Because we need, of course, y'all support of saying that solar is the way we want to go. And before we start bringing in other partners, we need y'all's kind of a blessing saying this is a good option for the city of Brownsville to be moving toward.
This is not an action item, so we
No,
don't
it's
take
not.
any.
Just
But I mean,
presenting
if
it.
anybody, I think the way to approach this would be, if anybody's got any opposition, would you please voice it now so that you guys will know something that you might think about, okay?
I think it's a great idea. I just want to know how we can help you keep moving
Yeah.
it forward.
And I think that's going to come in the later phases. Once we get PUB completely on board, AEP and all these other entities, when we start really needing the community engagement, I think is when y'all are going to be playing a pivotal role in this.
Okay, well, I think the engineering department can understand that by our silence that we're not, there doesn't seem to be a voice of objection, so that seems to be the path of least resistance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have number 4, which would be the consent items, but let me go ahead.
Well, consent agenda items A through T.
Okay, but there is one gentleman here with relation to item number S, that although he was here, I was not here, but he said, or at least my information from the city secretary, that he was here and he tried to put something on the agenda for the public comment, but you cannot have a public comment on something that's already on the agenda. So my question, I guess, to y'all is, if you all want to do every consent item with the exception of S and listen to this gentleman,
Yes.
and then you all can decide how you all want to deal with it. Would that be okay with everybody? Sure. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion from A to
A
T,
through T with the
with the
exception
exception
of
of
S.
S.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Pass it as you know.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read item S. It's approval on second and final reading on ordinance number 235-2016-052-CO to rezone for dwelling A DA to light commercial G 5CG for 0.5142 acres of Block A of Acacia Lake Garden subdivision located at 3185 Southmost Road, District Number 1. We can open this for a public hearing?
Yeah, this is the second reading for the record. And would you please state your name? We're being televised. Go.
Commissioners, Mayor, City Manager, my name is Jose Manuel Garza, and I may be here as a army of one, but again, it's going to be, well, this particular item or this particular change of zoning is going to affect me the most, because again, my property line is adjacent to the property that's being looked at right now, and then my mom's also My mom cannot be here. Her health hasn't been getting well. She did suffer a stroke some time back, and her health is deteriorating. So I'm an army of one. But again, let me just simply voice my opinion here, my concern. Hablando, se entienden las cosas. Speaking, there's an understanding of the things. And again, I'm here representing that I'm not against the zoning itself, but I think there has to be a little bit more maybe procedures or maybe some items that need to be looked at so that the property line, again, it is going to be affecting me the most. And again, I gave you some pictures. The people that are going to be occupying the property there or using the property as a business were there before, and the commissioners had not even approved of it. What you see there is the property line, again, that fence, that all of this materials, that construction materials is leaning against. Now, this is what has been occurring so far. Another item of concern is the way the people that are going to be working there, not the owners themselves and not the leasing themselves, but the people that are going to be working there. Now again, what I gave you right now is just some materials. They are planning to, I think, from what I have seen before, again, without the consent of the court here or the chamber, they're going to be using it as a car lot. They're going to be bringing cars. Now, what is that not to say that they're going to be placing car parts against my fence? That's what they're doing now.
Okay.
This is what they're going to be probably doing. But again, hablando, se entienden las cosas.
Okay, with all due respect, this looks like we've addressed the problem. You're not really against the zoning. Did I understand correctly? I think you're probably more concerned as to the enforcement and make sure your property rights are not
Not
violated.
the property rights themselves, but I'm pretty sure that the city planning can come back and say, again, it's up to you. I'm not against it, but again, rather than passing it this time, I would simply rather have something placed by the planning department or by the zoning department saying, maybe we need to put a fence there. I'm not against the zoning itself, but again, I know that the planning department can come back and say, you know something, there's a 4-foot chain link fence, it belongs to them. Now again, maybe that the wooden wall or wooden fence might be not just the hindrance itself, but again, that's going to be their property. Now they're getting against my property itself. Number two, maybe that wooden wall is going to be stopping some of the language. And again, some of the language that has been occurring, again, they were there before. It was approved. And some of the language that I have heard, that my mom has heard, that my nephews that go and visit my mom and myself have heard, it's rather very
Not tasteful.
not conducive to whatever,
Okay.
to
All right.
itself.
Okay, appreciate it. Now, again, I think the question that begs itself is, what is the remedy? But is the remedy to turn down this application or this, zoning with some other caveats, or is it to approve it and then just ask the city manager to go ahead and, make sure to put a special year, eye, and whatever to this particular project?
Well, it was zoned from residential to business, and so now they'll have to come in with permitting and things like that. So we'll address it with code enforcement and things like that.
Okay. Well, I think Evaristo's here and all the guys that are here in enforcement, make sure that we do our jobs. And I thank you for your words and for your comments. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay.
Was that
Now,
a public hearing?
I'll go back to item number S.
The letter S.
Okay.
Do we have to
Close
close
public
public
hearing?
hearing? Motion to close?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And now to take action on it?
Motion.
To approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Item number five, boards and commissions, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint a member to the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
You got it?
Mayor and Commissioners, Bean Ayala did contact me. He wants to ask request to appoint one member to his board, and I believe, Priscilla, can you push it? And I believe the member they have is Salvador Garza. So that's who the application they did receive. That's who, so he's requesting to appoint this individual to his board.
I'll move to approve Mr. Garza.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Item number 6.
Item number 6, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint a member to the Brownsville Public Utilities Board.
I move to appoint Armando Magallanes.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 7 has asked to be removed.
Item number 7 for public hearing, as per the requester's request, item number 7 is going to be removed.
Okay. Any public comment?
It's
No.
removed or tabled?
No, we're going
Well,
to
it's removed,
remove it.
so We'll put it
We'll
up another
bring it
day.
up at a later
We're still in
date.
the negotiating process with
Okay.
Well, we're not gonna have this agenda item on tonight. We're completely removing it for another meeting later on. Okay?
if it's so allowed.
If it's allowed.
It is.
I had asked for them to take time and come back to this meeting, and,
We're not ready.
okay.
We'll have the same issue. So we're still,
Well, it's very simple. He was given a directive. He didn't comply. He didn't comply. If you want to give it till the next meeting because of posting purposes, that's fine. But I gave him a directive to come back for this meeting. And if they didn't comply, he didn't comply. So if, obviously we have a reason, we can't be able to post. And we're not going to open, but if it comes back in the next meeting, I'll make contact with him and I'll make sure that if he doesn't comply by the next meeting, it's a null and void shut case. But he was given a directive to take that time and to come back over here. If he hasn't done it, then we have an issue. So, okay.
Any public comment?
No.
No. We're not going to go into that.
And just so you know, the next meeting isn't until August the 2nd.
That's fine. We'll have time. Is there any public comment?
We have no public comments tonight.
Okay. Item number 9.
So item number 9, discussion and action to convey a non-exclusive easement to the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to accommodate the laying of fiber optic cable in support of Project Stargate.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. But what is before you is a fiber optic system easement. What's more important is what it's about. This basically is one of the final agreements that are in place after a series of agreements between the city, between the GBIC, between SpaceX, and between the university relating to this Project Stargate. What the project will allow is the construction of a spacecraft tracking and astronomical research facility, and the purpose of the cable is to connect this radio telescope to the university. What we've done in the agreement is we've made sure that the city's existing utilities aren't compromised to the maximum extent we can. This easement would allow basically for a conduit to be bored. We're not talking about excavation into the city right away. We're talking about boring horizontally. Basically, before they began construction, they would provide city engineering with a complete set of plans showing where all the existing utilities are in place. They would indicate to the city at what depth they're going to bore this fiber optic cable, give the city the chance to respond if there was a problem. After doing the construction, they will provide us with a set of as-built plans so we know where everything is within the right-of-way, and they've also agreed to make sure the contractor has insurance and they're responsible in the event that there was any damage or interruption with anything, any kind of accident that might occur.
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I move to adjourn for a month?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Granted.